Welcome everybody to Island Fans, the place where you get to talk about sports. And tonight we're going to do our usual review of the Premier League weekend. And we're looking forward to it. We have lots of wonderful things to talk about. And I'm so happy that my usual trusted panel is here to talk sports with me. So I have Shaq, aka Trust the Process, Moy, Sadio Hall, and Jamal. All right, so we're gonna have a good time tonight as we discuss all things related to sports. I'm so happy that you've all come in to support this as we see persons coming in. Don't forget, of course, you can like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube, and of course, hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're everywhere as we are seeking to have a good time talking about sports. So let's get right into it as we discuss our EPL review, and we'll jump right into it. Good night, everybody. How is everybody doing? Good?
Doing
Nice,
well.
Great,
good.
great.
Awesome. Good to hear that everybody's doing great. All right, let's get the ball running with Brighton versus Burnley. Brighton versus Burnley as we work our way through this. Now, last time, well, you know what? I'm gonna ask Shaq if you could just make sure that I'm all together with all the results for the weekend. So you could just pull up all the results for the weekend, and I'll go ahead and pull up what everybody has said last time. All right. So I'm gonna start with Jamal. Jamal, I'm gonna start with you because you were 100% right in your prediction last time. You said a nil-nil draw with Brighton versus Burnley. All right. How do you feel about your prediction, and why were you right?
Well, I did say it's going to be a bore fest of the weekend, right? And it turned out
Okay.
to be that. The team had nothing going forward, and they couldn't score, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, and it turned out to be just that, definitely. Yeah, nil-nil. So, I don't know. I was hoping that Brighton would, show up a little bit to the game, but it seems as though it wasn't to be that night. So it didn't really work out. The rest of us, Shaq, you said 2-1 Brighton, and let me see. Memphis at the time said 2-2, and Shamoy, you said 1-0. I also said 2-1 as well. We were all hoping that at least Brighton would score. What happened, Shaq? What do you think? Do you think Brighton just didn't have it in them? Were they off the day? What happened?
I think there's a lot of missed chances. When I was watching the game, Danny Welbeck, he got a couple of chances. He ran in behind the defense and he just couldn't finish. I mean, a couple of
Mm,
good saves, but like Jamal said, it wasn't really a game to get excited about. When you watched it,
mm,
there was nothing there really, devoid of
mm.
quality.
Yeah. Anything to add, U-Haul? Anything to add?
Yeah, yeah. I just going back to the fact that I picked Burnley to go down. It was just a typical Burnley performance where they just did not have anything up top. They just had no penetration through the
Mm,
attacking lineup. So it's the same problems over and over again hurting Burnley. They started with Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood. I swear Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood have been starting since 2000
mm,
for them. So it's just the
mm.
same.
Yeah, they've been doing their thing. As I said to you last time, Chris Wood is mostly Deadwood up there, not doing much at
Yeah,
all in terms of scoring those
great
goals.
name.
Moy, you said 1-0. You're hoping Brighton could probably nick it. You surprised that they didn't score?
I go with 1-0 because I didn't really want to see the draw. I was hoping that, you know,
Mhm.
Lamptey would have a good game again, provide some kind
Okay.
of assist or get them through. But pretty
Mhm.
lackluster, not much to say from that game.
Yeah, it was. Bit of a bore fest, as Jamal said. So, Jamal, I've been noticing lately, a lot of your predictions have been right lately. We should give you your own show. Predictions by Jamal.
they
We'll
were
see how
right
the
at
rest of
the
them go this week.
time by now.
Yeah, well, you were wrong about the Arsenal one, but we'll get to that in a second. All right. Anyway, so, all right.
That's early.
It was. I couldn't help it. Southampton versus Newcastle is our next game. And most of us, well, all of us really predicted last time that Newcastle would run away winners. Did that happen, Shaq? Did Newcastle win the last game?
Newcastle lost 2-0.
2-0. Newcastle lost 2-0. Jamal, you said 3-2, and Memphis said the same. And Shaq, you said 2-1. And
Right.
Shamoy and I both said 2-0 Newcastle, but it ended up being 2-0 Southampton. What did Southampton have that we didn't think they had? I remember I said that I think it was Che Adams, I think it was, that I didn't think he could score, and yet he scored, which was
Good goal.
interesting, you know, and it was a good goal as well too. So he proved us wrong. And Southampton is at the top of the table. What do y'all think about that? Let's start with Urique. What do you think about that? Southampton up there.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised the way they've been playing. They've been playing really, really well. I think they have a fluid forward line.
Mm,
Armstrong played really well in the game. They also had chances from Romeo in midfield coming forward. So I didn't see that coming. They dominated the game. They dominated Newcastle. As a
mm,
matter of fact, Newcastle's, in my opinion, their man of the match was their goalie. He kept them in the game for the majority of it. So
he
I
did.
agree,
I'm
bro.
really impressed with them.
Yes. Throughout the weekend, I think goalkeepers had a pretty good weekend. They put out some massive saves throughout the weekend, and we see that with the rest of the other games. But Shaq, you mentioned in previous shows that you love the Newcastle team. What happened this time? They haven't been playing the way they started.
In this game, what I saw was Newcastle really gave Southampton some of those chances. I know for the second goal, it was just they gave the ball away in the defense. You can't
Mm,
do that. No matter what kind of opposition you're playing against, you will get punished.
mm.
And that happened.
You will. You will. You definitely will get punished. You got to keep your eye on the ball and make sure in the Premier League, man, you can't slack off at any time. Good evening to Shikala. Thank you so much for supporting Ireland fans. And good evening to everybody else that's tuning in tonight as we work our way through this review. So, Southampton, Newcastle. I think now after losing a few games now, is there any chance that Newcastle will actually make a shot for the top 10? What do you think, Jamal? Or do you think that they can be down there in relegation?
It's gonna be a tough scrap for top 10 for them. I think they'll come maybe 15th, 12 and 15.
Mm,
If
okay,
if
okay.
they don't pick up, if they don't pick up any form, I think they'll pull away from the bottom three. But
Hmm.
say 12 to 15, they'll get the 40 points to stay up, and then they'll just cruise the rest of the season.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty solid. That understanding of that, that makes a lot of sense because I mean the way they were playing, the way they are playing, if they don't, it doesn't matter really how you start, I guess, because it's how you finish. And Shamoy, looking at how the whole Southampton team is set up generally, they didn't have Danny Ings, but they pulled off a 2-0 win. Are you surprised by that,
But yeah,
Jamal?
as you see, my prediction
Mm,
was totally wrong.
yeah,
That I went to the
yeah.
2-0 Newcastle win. But
Hmm.
let's go back to last season after Southampton got humiliated from Leicester. After that
Mm,
game, they had something to prove in Shea Adams.
Mhm.
yeah,
Because remember, Shea Adams, they were saying he couldn't get off the mark. And I
yeah,
think that whole entire Southampton team has had something to prove from since last season. And I see them doing it this season. Their team to give the big teams trouble and to pull a little
yeah.
3 points and a draw from, those surprising results.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see how far they can go because they're playing good football, and you never know. You never know. There's always one team that surprises you, and this is already looking like a crazy season already coming through this whole Corona situation. The next game to talk about, Ron, is the Everton Man United game, the Everton versus Man United game. Now, I said 2-1. Memphis. Well, Memphis said 2-1, 1-1 last time. Shaq, you said 1-1. Shamoy said 2-0. I said a 2-1 with Everton to score for us, so I was right about that. And Jamal, you said 2-0. So we predicted that United would win, most of us, except Shaq, this with a disappointing prediction as usual. Understand. I'm just kidding. But anyway, the idea is that, yeah, you did make the point, though, Shaq, last time that Ollie finds a way. And that was true. You did say that when his back is against the wall, he finds a way. And you were right about that. He did find a way to win and United came away. It could have been 2-2 late, really, really, really late. Incredible block there that turned into a counter attack that made it 3-1 with Cavani getting his first goal. But yes, it seems the players showed up for Oli. and so he doesn't get fired. Which is what happened.
which is a good thing.
Like, which is okay.
The rest
Yes,
of us.
I guess so. It better how you look at it. All
Ollie at
right.
the wheel.
So yes, I love my Ollie. Ollie in. I'm the Ollie in team. Hashtag Ollie in. I believe in him and what he's doing there. And I actually saw an interesting stat the other day. Klopp in his second season, I think after 50 games or something like that, or Klopp after 50 games or Ollie after 50 games or something to that effect. They're making the point that actually Ollie has had a better record than Klopp in his first 50 games. So why fire Ollie? I didn't fire Klopp. Klopp went on to win um, Champions League and Premier League. And people say, "Oh, how can you compare them?" But I remember that first Klopp team, man, when you had people like, who you had in that team? You had
I'll name it for you.
you had Ben Tekish striking.
Yeah.
Who else?
You had Ben
you
Teke.
had oh my goodness.
We had Lallana. We had John.
They're good.
Well, I think we have Ibe at that time. Yes, we had John Ibe.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
in our back four we had Sacco and Skirtle.
That's
We
true.
had-
That's true. That's
How
true.
about Henderson?
Susan, that's you too. But anyway, the point is,
Different handle now. It's a different handle.
but see, I said, give him a chance, man. Give him a chance. People have to grow. People have to develop. And Lamar coming in here, Ollie at the wheel, definitely. Ollie in all the way. I was proud of the squad, definitely. Bruno Fernandes was the pivotal person in this game. If it wasn't for him, it would not have happened. And so, what do you think, Shimoy, about the stats that say that Bruno Fernandes is playing way better than De Bruyne? And could he be actually a better attacking mid at the moment?
Not at all. Not at all.
I know
Not at
you would
all.
say that.
Nope.
But the stats say otherwise. You don't think so? You
But
don't
I
think
have to give him
so?
his props though. He is playing good. He has been that man for Manchester United that has been stepping up for the past few games. At least he didn't get the penalty this time. He proved us that he can score goals with his head also.
They both were headers. Yeah, they both
It
were
was a good
headers.
performance for Manchester United.
Second one wasn't.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah, it was.
lucky one.
It was a good performance by them, And what I love about it too is the fact that when he could have had a hat trick and he laid it off to Cavani instead, his mentality was like, it's not about me, it's about about winning, So that'll be the case. So that's pretty good. Well, Shaq, what do you think about United win? You didn't think that we would have won the game. You said 1-1. Are you surprised, or it makes sense considering how awesome Bruno Fernandes is?
Well, like I said in the first time we did a show with Ireland fans, I said if Man United are at any point in time if Bruno Fernandes puts out an 8 out of 10 performance minimum, Man United will most likely win the game. If Bruno Fernandes is unsung in a game, Man United is trouble. But I mean that was a game that could go anyway. As you saw, Everton scored first, then some awful defending. I would say for that Bruno Fernandes first goal. And I mean, you gotta take your chances. And so fair play to Manu. They took their chances, they won the game.
Yeah, fair play to them as well too. All right, any comments on that, Jamal, you want to say towards the game? You said 2-0 United.
Yeah, I mean, we thought United was going to win quite comfortably as well. I also said that the players will have to show up for Ole to save his job this time because that was a crucial game for him. And then
you did say.
Everton showed up in the first 20 minutes and then just capitulated after that. They started to push in the last 10, 15 minutes. And then, like you said, that pivotal block and then up the other end and Cavani scores. And that's 3-1, right?
Yeah, crazy how football can be. Crazy. All right, let's move on to the next game. This game, Crystal Palace versus Leeds United. Now, our predictions last time were rather interesting. Jamal, you said 1-1. And Jamal said 3-2 Leeds. Shaq said 2-2 draw. Memphis 3-0 Leeds. And I said 3-1 Leeds. But it ended up being what, Shaq? What was it exactly?
4-1 Palace.
4-1 Palace. Big win by Palace. But then there was something very interesting that happened in the game where I think it's Badford, the striker, Leeds striker. He was called offside in a very, very good goal he scored. And I'm positive pre-VAR it would not have been offside. I don't know if everybody saw the situation. What do you think about that? Let's start with Shaq.
Well, I mean, it's a tough call. It's a tough call, but by the letter of the law, it's offside. They changed the law
Mm-hmm.
this year with something about your from your shirt sleeve around
Mm-hmm.
that area. You could score with that
Yeah.
part of your hand. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, by that he's off, and it's tough, but that's just how we go to go.
Yeah, yeah. Yurick, what do you think about this new law? We're gonna actually have a show
I
about it.
hate it.
You know,
I hate
the
it,
new
Josh.
football law. You hate
I
it?
hate it, Josh. I hate
Okay,
it. To
okay,
me, the
okay.
offside rule, and I'm gonna go on a little rant here, but it is what it is. The offside rule was built so that an attacker does not have an advantage against a defender. That was the reason the offside rule was built. It wasn't built to measure armpit hairs and toenail
Tony
hair.
is.
It wasn't built for that.
Wow.
And they're using it now. So in the Bamford situation, Bamford was actually pointing to where he wanted the ball, right?
True,
When he
true.
was throwing goal. And because of this
Mm-hmm.
new, now they've changed the rules to say you can score with the upper half of your arm, right? So when he's pointing and he has his hand outstretched, they draw the line from where his hand was pointing out. And because it was
Mm-hmm.
above the last defender, they've given him offside.
Mm-hmm.
So now, at least,
Mm.
now, my question is, at which point do we realize that this is getting actually ridiculous now? The VAR is
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
ridiculous. And we've had so many situations this season where we see inaccuracies with VAR with regards to the offside rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to get back to the Everton game, but we know what happened, right?
Yeah,
And just
yeah.
so to me, the rule is just nonsense, in my
We're
opinion.
gonna have you. We're definitely gonna have you on the Thursday show because we're gonna have a show on Thursday where we discuss VAR and the handball rule and the changes that are made. So I feel your passion. I do. You don't want to get me started
Josh,
either on that because I mean, I think in many cases I love VAR, but I believe the new handball rule may be ruining the game. It may be ruining the game, and that's just messed up, But we can talk more about that. Shaq, you want to say something?
I just want to make the point that we are not. I hope Eureka is making the point as well that VAR is not the problem.
No.
The wording of the rule, because you would agree that VAR got it right by the
By the
letter of the
letter of
law,
the law, yes.
right?
Yeah.
So
So
we
the law
condemning
needs to
the
change.
rule.
But
We
then,
condemning the
Shaq,
rule and not VAR.
Shaq, I also have issues where I see inaccuracies of where the line is being drawn.
That's true.
Mhm,
The
mhm,
line, I cannot tell definitively where the
mhm,
line is being drawn from. I remember specifically in a Liverpool game when Van Dijk was offside, right? They drew
mhm,
the line from his elbow while he was leaning. They drew it from his elbow. With
mhm.
Mane, they drew it from his armpit. And I cannot understand where with the consistency comes from.
Yeah, I mean,
I,
there's a lot to discuss on that. You make a good point, yeah,
I,
definitely. Jamal, you expected Leeds to run away with this, with 3 goals, but they didn't. Why they only scored one?
Yeah, they just didn't have the firepower. They after the first goal got disallowed, they kept pushing and pushing, but then Eze turned up for Palace,
oh
and
yes, finally.
he played really well in that game. And then Zaha assisted the last goal for Jordan Ayew.
Mm-hmm.
And here, I don't think um, Leeds just had enough going forward. They, like I said last time, they like to score, but
Yeah.
then they concede as well, and they just conceded more than they scored this game.
Yeah, yeah. Even Bradford had a late header there too. That could have at
Yeah,
least made it more per game, and he just mistimed it. If the offense is going to only run through him, they're going to have some serious problems. A few persons want to say a shout out to Carlos Cati, Daddy Bruns United all the way, a big Bruno fan, and also Risa Irish. She makes the point here: changing the rules of football to fit VAR is the biggest problem with VAR. All
Mm.
right, so. That's a very good point there, and love to hear more of your views on that and the Thursday show. So we're looking forward to that. And tell us if you have any issues with the VAR or even issues with the new handball rule, just in general. Has it hurt the game? Has it helped the game? You can make several cases for that, and you can come on the Thursday show. If you want to be on the show as well, too, just send us a message via our Instagram page. Let's move on, guys. Since the Shmoy seems to have some issues, and that's all right. If for those of you who know anything about what's happening right now in Antigua, the weather is awful. It's so awful. It's literally like flooding everywhere in the whole island. You know, we can't take water, so it may be affecting some of our internet speeds tonight, and so forth. But we're gonna plow on and do our best. Island fans still work regardless of what's happening. Okay, rain or shine, hurricane or whatever. We still going to.
We'll talk to you, Pastor, if you're listening.
Yeah, no. They may just cut us off, you know, so let me keep my mouth shut. All right. So let's talk Sheffield United versus Chelsea versus Sheffield United. This was also a game that we talked a lot about. Shaq, you said 3-0 Chelsea. And Memphis said 3-2. Shamoy said 4-0. So he actually got the number of goals for Chelsea, right? And Jamal, you said 2-0 Chelsea. Now, what's interesting about it is that we all predicted that Chelsea would win. And Memphis said they would get 2 goals, and they actually got 1. They scored first. We didn't even think they would score, but they scored. Even though I did say 3-1 Tommy hat-trick. I did say that as well too. You know, my boy Tommy did step up. You see, you need to keep playing Tommy. I keep telling y'all this now. Y'all, like, eventually
you did say it.
The Tommy train. Tommy's been balling. Put Timo Werner on the left and put Tommy down to the middle, man. That's what works. When they have him on top, nothing happens. But and Ziyech, oh man, I mean, anybody have anything they want to say about Ziyech? Ziyech has been balling. They say he's the next Hazard. What do you think about that, Jamal? Is Ziyech the next Hazard?
Next Hazard, he'll be better than Hazard, I think.
Ooh, okay. Whoa.
He's younger than Hazard as well.
Look, right, the Ziyech has been killing it, man. The confidence in him right now is amazing. What he's been doing there, you know. And so, I mean, I'm really excited about what he will do and is doing in the team, you know, definitely. So we look forward to Ziyech and see what he does. But in terms of predictions itself, what I like about this though is that Sheffield did play. If you watch the highlights or if you watch the game, they came out to play. There were times when, I mean, there was a time when Chelsea just ran with it, you know, towards the end of the game. But for large parts of the game, especially in the first half too, they had their chances. Brewster was awful, in my opinion. I don't know if anybody saw the highlights, you know, but it was awful. I understand now, Yurik, why you sold him. It makes no sense. I don't know what he was doing on that field.
Hey,
but everybody else,
ease up off my boy.
Are you still defending him? You sold him. I mean,
you have a buyback clause.
You put a buyback clause on Brewster? What a joker. Hear that. I put it nonsense. I put a buyback clause on Memphis Depay. I put a buyback clause on what's the guy Crystal Palace again? Zaha. See, those are the people you put buyback clauses on, man. You know, not anyway.
But you know your team. Your team has a history for selling low and buying high.
Okay, all right. It's like that. Okay, all right. Oh, bye. Oh, let's see what's happening here, right? Let me see. Okay, we got a few people jumping in. Chicago saying Chelsea all the way. It was a beautiful Saturday. It was for Chelsea fans. It was almost a cliche, but they got one. And Newton, thank you so much for that, Chicago. I appreciate the Chelsea love. And we're trying to get some Chelsea fans in here, man, but it's difficult. And Newton Charles says, "Don't disrespect my boy." I don't know. He disrespected himself. I don't know how. I'm not sure. Brewster is the next Idiot show. Y'all bigging this dude up and end up doing nothing. You know, absolutely nothing.
Just too much.
He's the next Januzaj.
Hey, don't do that. Do not do that. Januzaj is better. Januzaj is far better currently.
I apologize.
Januzaj to make the Belgian squad. He's playing for I think Real Sociedad. He's playing in Spanish. Okay. Yeah. He starts, he plays, and he makes his national team. So leave my boy alone. Bruce can't even make youth
A little
squad for England.
relegation
So I
battle
just
in
want to say that.
Spain. Nice.
Alrighty then. All right. Okay. I did love Giannis Aido. Giannis Aido was amazing at the time. Anyway, moving on. Next game. Let's talk West Ham versus Fulham. Oh, by the way, one thing though for Chelsea though, I mean, big ups to Thiago got his goal, which was good. And I know he's been under a lot of pressure. So, he finally got something. And I'll big ups to Sheffield United too. Yeah, they kind of lost energy towards the end, but they started great. And
Before
I
you
was
go,
really
Josh.
thinking, yeah, go
Sorry.
ahead.
Before you move on, I don't know if you guys saw the pass from Ziyech to Timo Werner, right? Where he missed it. Guys,
Yeah, I saw it.
that was one of the passes of the season.
Yeah, he laid it. One of them pro clubs passes. It was crazy. It was really good though. I'll give him that. And as usual, Timo missed it. So,
yeah, well, that's regular Timo for you.
I know, right? There you go.
You
should talk now. You should talk.
You were dying to get Timo.
I know, right? Look, they wanted it so bad, literally. Anyway, I was wondering what you said there. That is so true because we think about it. Yeah. I mean, Timo did score a goal off of a mistake, and it was just, was basically, keep it on target, But, I know, let's see how it goes. Lamar says, Lookman said, skip this game. Wow.
Yeah, but Lamar, I was gonna get there. Josh, remember I was telling you, but we should have a waste man of the week.
Yes, we're gonna get to that.
Waste man of the week.
Man.
Yeah. Crazy.
Panenka?
In the 98 minutes.
Kind of sauce.
Yeah.
Vibes.
Yeah.
The confidence.
Yeah, well, there you go. Alone man I'm doing thing, right? All right, let's move on, guys, as we try to work our way through this. Yes, West Ham versus Fulham. We all said that Fulham would lose, and did they lose?
Yeah.
Shot.
It's 1-0. It's 1-0.
1-0 from West Ham. A late goal from West Ham, which shows you the state of West Ham if they're struggling there with Fulham. That's the case. But it happened nonetheless, Now I know Jamal, you seem to hate Fulham as well too. It feels that this is just seems to be the case.
Well, I mean, like
I used to go ahead.
London clubs.
Okay.
London derby. But
got you.
Fulham just offer nothing. They only have Mitrovic, right?
Yeah.
And Lookman decided he didn't want to play the game anymore. So, I mean, that sums up the whole attitude of the team, right? Maybe too arrogant, thinking that they deserve to be in the Premier League, but then you have to put in the work. Not putting in the work. So I can imagine Park is pulling his hair out of these, simple mistakes he was doing. In the 96th minute to get a point, you do a Panenka. Come on, and not even hit it hard.
It was embarrassing.
Because Fabianski dived the wrong way and was still able to recover.
And then he just palmed it. Just palmed it out the ear.
He should be fined his week's wages.
The month. He would be.
Just done it for the month.
Okay, but could he make the claim that he may be doing that regularly in training and he's confident about coming and do his thing?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I'm just trying to help the guy out. Wasn't on there, and that was what.
It's the arrogance, young arrogance.
The arrogance. Yeah. Well, the arrogance may just get them relegated. The way they think so, Jamal?
Yeah, I think so. First one to go down.
Relegated by Christmas.
I must say, when Rama came on as well, he changed the game for West Ham.
Yeah, definitely. And so let's hope West Ham can still keep up the fight. Solid 3 points, and need to take that. We also said too that West Brom would lose this game. Now, this fascinating about the West Brom Tottenham game is that Shaq said 4-0, Memphis said 7-0. So Jamal, what did you say? I was trying to figure out what you said. If you remember what it was.
Around 4 or 5.
Yeah, exactly. I said 2-0, and it wasn't that far off. Yeah, I want to be so awful at these people, boy. And so, and it ended up being a simple 1-0. That's correct, Shaq. I think so. A
Yeah.
simple
Yes,
one
the late
nil,
goal
a
from
late
Harry
goal.
Kane.
No, I gotta say this. When I looking at that game though, that one, the keeper was amazing in that game though. For West Brom, I give him that. Yeah, I can understand. He's a former United keeper. From my academy, so it makes sense. But he pulled out some great saves in that game. But honestly, I think his defense let him down with a Harry Kane goal. That goal should never have scored. That game should have ended 0-0. Out of that because that was a looping header there. Defender's supposed to clear that, and it didn't happen. Do you think, Eureka, that by Christmas too, West Brom's done, or they have some more fight in them?
I liked what I saw from them in the game. So I'm not
Yeah.
ready to write them off by Christmas already. I think they were really unlucky to not score in the first half. To me, they were the better team in the first half.
They
By
had some
far.
chances.
They had a lot of
Yeah.
chances. They had about
And
three or
Lloris
four
had to make
chances.
some saves. Lloris had to make some
Yeah,
big saves in
he
that
did.
game. So,
He did.
I mean,
Um,
I was
but
really hoping
as
that
the game
Tottenham would
wore
lose.
on, yeah, as the game
Hmm
wore on, Spurs had more chances. Lo Celso missed
hmm
a sitter. Um,
mm
so
Yeah, he should have scored.
yeah, he did. But you mentioned something, Josh. You said that you thought it was a defense. The defense shouldn't have allowed it. I thought that was just strictly a goalkeeping error. I
Yes,
You think
thought
so?
that's
if he
it.
stayed on his line,
Yeah.
he would have
Yup,
caught that ball
saved them
comfortably.
easily.
He
Yeah,
rushed out
he
and he
did.
didn't make up his mind. That's my point. It's either you're going for the punch, you're
Yes.
going
You're
for the
right.
catch, or you're
You're right.
Yup.
staying
You're
on
right.
your line. And he ran
Mm.
out and he did neither of the two.
But could you make the
So
claim too that is miscommunication on both sides? Because if I'm playing,
could
I
be.
play defense. If I'm playing defense behind there, the ball is looping there. Harry Kane is right there underneath me. Shouldn't be,
Mm-hmm,
I'm shouting to make him, I got this. I'm gonna head that out. I'm not even thinking about him. Or maybe he
mm-hmm,
should say it too as well, I'm coming, or go for that. I mean,
mm-hmm.
I guess it's miscommunication between the centre back and the keeper. Nobody was talking and nobody doing anything. And Harry Kane getting him a retarded header to score that goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
It
the
could, but
mistakes
I
they should
mean,
have been
if you're
making.
a goalkeeper, in my opinion, and you run, he was clearly coming out. It doesn't
Hmm
matter if you communicate or not. You're there, you're gonna clear everything out. Even if you have to clear your own
Yeah.
defender out to get the
Yup.
punch,
Yup.
you're clear because you already
Yeah.
made the decision that you're coming out.
So you
So
have to
that was
go
just
fall
my
through.
issue with
Yeah.
him. I think his name is Johnson. I think Johnston or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. That's his name. Yeah. 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 I mean, he's had a lot of injury issues. He's moved around a bit. He's a good keeper generally.
Yeah, he looks
Still a
good.
young guy.
Some good
You
saves.
know, um, he was in the shop for England for a while. He just couldn't stay out of the injuries.
Mm.
But he got a chance there. So that's that. Tottenham got 3 points there, and they made their way through. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on to Leicester versus Wolves. Now, we were really looking forward to this game. We expected it to, go either way, and it ended up coming down to a single penalty. There were two penalties in the game. Vardy missed the second, scored the first. Here are our predictions last time. Shamoy said 2-1. Shaq said 1-1. And Jamal, you said 2-1 Wolves. And Memphis said 3-3. And I said also 2-1 Leicester. So that was the case. Shaq, you were the closer of the situation with a 1-1, if I would say. But generally, I think most of us said that Leicester would win. And Jamal, though, you said that Wolves would win. Are you disappointed in what they did?
Yeah, they just didn't come out the traps.
Hmm
Leicester came and went straight at their throats. Had the
hmm
penalty earlier, had the second penalty and missed it. But then, I mean, Wolves pushed, but they didn't push enough.
They
And
didn't push enough.
Leicester had enough to just hold them over the line.
Hmm
Also, I think with this performance from Leicester and they're top of the league, I think they will push for a top 3 spot come the end of the season if Vardy and Maddison stays fit.
I like that prediction. I was going to say the same thing in the sense that, a lot of pundits are making the point that, we can't deny the fact that pre-corona, Leicester had some great form to get where they need to be in that top 4. And, who knows? Man United may not have made the top 4 if it wasn't for corona. But either way, though, at the end of the day, that team is still there. And Brendan Rodgers has a way of, pulling the best out of the team. And if you actually think about it, too, um, that Leicester, they may have another glory run again. And it'd be great too for them to prove that, that one wonderful year wasn't a one and done situation. But what I gotta say though, Shaq, I was really impressed with the Portuguese guy in defense, Neves.
Fofana?
He had a shot.
Oh,
Neves, he had a wonderful shot late in the game. His usual long range shot, but then a big save by Casper to keep Leicester in the game. Do you think that Wolves may make a push again this year in a top 5, top 6, top 7, or these are the games that they have to win and they didn't win?
Well, if they are to make that push for anything top 6, these are the games they'd have to win. But I think this year they're gonna fall short. They don't have the same defensive stability that they had last season. I don't feel as if I just feel like they're missing something. They're not playing with the same vigor. I mean, something seems off. Something seems off from them, and I think they will just miss them. Maybe they'll have around 8 top 10 at best. Top 10 at best.
Top 10 at best, definitely. I like them generally, both teams, and I was hoping for a bit more from their strike force, but it just didn't happen in this game. And then end up being a game of very few margins, and that 1-0 penalty ends up being the case. Jamal, let me get one last thing from you there in this. Are you feeling that Leicester vibe too? Can Leicester do it? Let's be honest. Can Leicester actually do it?
I think they can
go all the way.
Yeah, they've got momentum now, and we have to see what happens when they come back from the international break, obviously. But if they win the first game of the international break and remain top of the league, I think they can push all the way. But I don't think they'll win the title. I think City and Liverpool are still too strong, so they'll easily take the first 2 slots. But I can see Leicester pushing for 3rd or 4th. Which means another big 6 team misses out on Champions League, which is going to be a lot of drama come the end of the season.
Early days, yeah.
Hopefully,
it's still early days, and we don't know what's going to happen. But it can be anything. It can be anything, and we'll see. Guess who gets knocked out in that situation. Okay, I was looking for my Man City guy. I don't see him. If you could pop back in, I'd put you in because I know you're gonna want to make a comment on this next game, especially since we have our Liverpool representative here. So we would love to hear from Moy. So
if I can mention one quick thing about the Wolves game.
Sure, go ahead, big man.
Hopefully, I can stall it until Moy comes. Shaq, remember you were saying you don't feel like there's something wrong with Wolves. It's just not clicking like last season. The inconsistent. I realized that last season, they started their season, right? In July. They had an early run into the Europa League. So they started really, right? They started the season early. They ended in August. They played the most games, as if I remember correctly, they played the most games out of any team in England over a calendar season. They just knackered. And on top of that, they didn't have a big squad to begin with. So I feel like they just knackered at this point. They didn't get any proper rest.
Yeah.
So
fair point.
I think that's affecting the way they play at the moment. I think that
that could definitely be it. That could definitely be it. I mean, they didn't have a preseason either. Any team didn't really have a regular preseason to come into the game.
Yeah, that's a good point there because, I mean, especially those teams that have to play the Europa League, you always see they end up having some very strange Premier League form, and I just don't think that, the squads are big enough to really to really make a charge on both sides. Or even like United, our Europa League run last season basically messed up our start to this Premier League season. I had one preseason game, which I lost to Aston Villa, So, coming into the season, I'm not surprised.
There's no shame in that anymore, Josh. There's no shame in losing to Villa anymore.
Okay.
I know, right?
Oh my goodness.
Yo,
All
you
right.
weak. You
So,
gotta stay strong, you weak.
I'm waiting for your shot. We're almost there, buddy.
Oh boy.
Okay,
Jamal,
well, you know what? In light of that,
Solidarity.
I'm still waiting for my boy, Shamoy, because I know he's going to want to talk about a Liverpool game. So we'll leave that for last. So we'll move over to the Aston Villa Arsenal game. Aston Villa Arsenal game. Now, this is rather interesting because we started joking last time, all right, about the fact that it would be 10-0, which was very interesting. Arsenal fans were joking first, and then, of course, Memphis jumped in and said 10-0 as well, but it ended up being rather different, and we then started to get a bit more serious about that. And Shamoy said 3-1 Villa. Memphis said 3-2 Villa with the Ollie hat trick. Hall, you actually put in the comments 3-2 Arsenal. And Jamal, you said first goal. If we get the first goal, it'll be 3-0. And Shaq, you said the same. I think you said 2 goals from
No,
Lackers.
3-1.
No,
3-1.
3-1, yes. And I said
Two
1-1
from
with
Alba, one
Gabriel
from
getting.
Pepe.
Yes, yes. And I said 1-1, Gabriel getting the red card. He didn't get it, unfortunately. So that was the case. All right. So, yeah, in light of that, those were predictions last time, but the game ended up being 3-0 Villa. Crazy, crazy, crazy game. Let me get a few comments in first here. Retimai says, I think that fitness is affecting everyone in the Prem this season, hence why this season seems so crazy and unpredictable.
True,
Okay.
true. Good
All
point.
righty then. So that's a very good point. Thank you so much for that, Lamar, and supporting the Ireland fans. Team, okay, so let's start with the Arsenal fans first, and then we'll go over to Urique. All right, Shaq, what happened? 3-0. You didn't put out what you expected. What happened?
I think we can just really say Villa were the better team on the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Arsenal team was still on a high from that Man U win last week, and it just didn't come back down to earth. And it's in contrast to last week, we had every player on the pitch. You could give them a 7, 8 out of 10 minimum. So yesterday we were looking at the field and we were pointing like, why are you not doing what you used to do? Why are you not doing what you did last week? There's so many lackluster there were so many lackluster performances yesterday that you could just look at the game like, what am I watching? I'm watching the game like, what is your boss? What this?
Yeah.
There was nothing going forward from us. And I keep saying this, that Lacazette has to drop too deep. Abba is out wide creating for somebody else when he should be the one, when somebody should be creating for him. Now, I'm not saying, and Jamal, I'll give you a time, but I'm not saying that Arteta out. I'm not saying Arteta out. And just like you saw in my name there, I said trust the process. You trust the process. You don't rush the process. I think that it's gonna take some time. And Arteta, he's not even been in the job for a year yet. You want to give it some time. He's going to learn from this mistake. And I think that this is the kind of game, especially going into this international break, where I think that this is the kind of game where he needs to look at himself, self-examination, look at the squad. What can I do? Because he did well to fix the defensive weakness that we had in seasons past. He's done well to fix that. He didn't show that yesterday, but I think that defending yesterday was down to individuals. But he did well to fix the defensive end of our game. But then no, it's not translating in the offense. So there's a kind of disconnect there. So he needs to now find that balance, and we'll see how it goes.
Good point. Yeah, Arteta in. Thank you for that. No, yeah, I knew all day outside of work, you were all passionate about doing that. Very good points there. Let's talk to some of the fans who are saying. Mar says the better keeper kept a clean sheet in that game.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. No, Martinez did play well. He played well. I give him that. So take some credit for that.
We can't. Can I just jump in there, Josh? Because we didn't trouble Martinez. We didn't trouble him.
Seems to make.
So we really don't know. He didn't get any. It was Lacazette had a chance where I thought he should have done better. That was it. He didn't have no work. I mean, those chances from Leno too. Those goals that Aston Villa scored, Leno couldn't stop any of those.
Okay. All right. You can make that point. Let's see. Shamoy says, what happened to the best defender in the Prem, according to Shaq? Shamoy. What happened? I will get to you again eventually.
Okay. Go ahead, Jamal.
What do you think, Jamal, about that? Even what Shamoy said. I mean, think about it. That cross from Bartley across the goal for Ollie to score. Should have really gotten all the way to Ollie Watkins. I mean, past a few defenders. What happened in the defense that was supposed to be the best in the league coming into this game?
We shouldn't be in that position at all. We should be 1-0 down in the first minute even. But let's start the lineup, okay? This lineup at home against Villa. Why are we playing defensive? We start El Neni and Partey in midfield. El Neni played well against Man United. That formation works well for United because it's a big team. You need to play cautiously. Villa, we need to go out swinging. If we didn't, we would come out swinging. What did they do? They came out and scored a goal in the first minute. Had it disallowed. But then they had their tails up. From that moment, none of the Arsenal players switched on. Even, I mean, look at William. William is supposed to be one of the most experienced players on the field. Couldn't put a pass right.
Didn't have a good game.
Wrong in the game. And I don't know why he's starting, even though he's fit. We should even just put Pepe in there. All right?
Okay. I did say this was a game for Pepe last time. This was a game for Pepe.
It was an expansive game. Get Pepe in there. Let him run at people. I mean, he may lose the ball once or twice, but majority of the times he will come up with a chance. I don't know when it was just going to turn around and pass the ball backwards, and then we have to recycle again. Saliba should be starting these type of games. Nowhere in the game. Now, we have not created much chances from anything at all. And we have a £350,000 a week player at home playing Fortnite and tweeting about the game. Right. I look at the logic in all of this, and then you have Aubameyang playing on the wing while Lacazette trying to hold up play, which he obviously is past his best now. So these are little things that that I don't get what Arteta is doing.
Shaq disagrees, but it's okay. Go ahead.
I've got one more stat here that shows that we are going in the wrong direction. Every other club in the Premier League, Championship, League One, and League Two has had more second half shots than Arsenal this season. All right?
Wow.
That is big because we can't score goals. We have 9 goals in 8 games. That's not going to get us anywhere. Aubameyang has 1 or 2 goals. I mean, look at all these other guys running away with the golden boot, and he's still there playing on the wing, trying to create chances and not putting them on himself.
I gotta say though that Chuck did say that to me when we discussed the game earlier that Alban needs somebody creating chances for him and not him creating chances for people. So let's get some of the fans in quickly so they get their voice as well too. YK Gaming 75, he's laughing at the situation. Grealish had a party on the left. Okay. Grealish had a great game. Grealish, but you gotta give Grealish that run there on the left hand side to set up thing there, boy. That was a good run
when
there.
The man is throwing Bellerin.
Welcome to the Prem. All right, Grealish had his party. He had his party. Okay. And again, Shaboy reiterating Gabriel, best defender in Prem currently, and good joke, Shaq. All right. Abba, who he? No, that's disrespectful. I will not stand for that. Do that to a Bobby guy. I love your quote. Your comment.
I was looking, I couldn't find him.
It's been like that for a while. I was even telling Shaq that can't call my guy. Can't call my guy a PE teacher. And I have no tactics. And a world-class striker. Where was Aubameyang in a lot of them games? If he wasn't for the penalty against Man United, where was he even then? Think about it. In a lot of things too. We haven't seen Aubameyang
trying to put Ali into this.
But then,
he's still a PE teacher.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Leave my PE teacher alone, right?
The difference between a PE teacher and Arteta is because Arteta don't get knocked out in semi-finals. Arteta wins trophies.
He won a trophy, right? That's how it is, right?
2 trophies. We are counting Community Shield because we all count Community Shield too.
Yes, we're counting the Community Shield.
Yes.
Ollie will never get a better job than the one he's in now.
Oh yeah.
When he's fired, that's the last we're gonna hear him.
I agree with that, but then again, I guess I think it's sad though, of the fact of making the point that we're getting on a guy's case to do this, and yet we didn't get on Klopp's case when nobody knew Klopp a few years ago, and then he had to build his way. You know, nobody knew Pep when Pep was doing Barker B. You know, easily winning games. Nobody knew about no Pep. You got to give him a chance. Everybody got to get a chance sometime. And everybody keeps talking about he doesn't have any tactics. It took tactics to beat PSG 2-1. It took tactics to go on a 14-game unbeaten streak. It takes tactics to beat all the top 6 last season consistently, over and over again. You have to know what you're doing. You know, his tactics are different from everybody.
Or just
top 6. You know, but no. Even before Bruno, even before Bruno, the unbeaten run. Bruno continued the unbeaten run, but the unbeaten run started before Bruno.
Josh,
you know,
other than
he still had to buy Bruno.
You played every bottom half team in that run. You played Newcastle. You played
Brighton.
You played Norwich.
And trust me, before that, I don't think any man in NFL would go into these games thinking we'd win. You know, the squad wasn't where it needed to be.
You know, players back from injury, every last one.
Not necessarily. I didn't have Rashford for most of it. I didn't have Martial. I didn't have Pogba. You know, I lost a lot of these guys. When he did come back, it was the end of the season. Literally. So I mean, you know, we're off topic, guys, but go ahead. Go ahead, Shaq.
Just to your point with Klopp and why I say trust the process too, because I wrote down a stat I heard earlier, and it says Klopp in Klopp's first year he lost 3-0 to Watford, 2-0 to West Ham, and he drew 2-2 with Exeter City in the FA Cup, and that same year as well he lost 2 finals. He lost 2 finals. He lost the Europa League final to Unai Emery Sevilla.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying. And look, okay, to further solidify that point, look at Southampton now. Remember, and Moy made this point earlier. They got 9 from I think it's Leicester last year. Yeah. They stuck with their manager, and look at where they are now.
Yeah.
I just don't like the comparisons. I just don't like the early club comparisons, because I know we're drifting, but I'll just make this last point. When Klopp inherited the team, there was a ton of deadwood. When he inherited Liverpool, the season before, we finished, I think, our lowest, 7th or 8th, when he took over. When he actually took over from us, I think we were 13th. He brought us to 8th, 7th or 8th, he finished. Right? But there was a lot of clearing out to do. There was a ton of clearing out to do. The work in which he had to do to get us back, I see similarities in Arsenal as well, but time will tell. Time will tell.
No, but Urique, I think you made the point, which I've been trying to make with Ollie, and I like Arteta. That's why I like these managers coming back and having trying to prove themselves, because I think the difference between Klopp, which I hope happens with Arteta, and I hope happens with Ollie, which hasn't happened, is that the club has to back you, right? Klopp said, I need a keeper. They spent the money. I need Van Dijk. They spent the money, right? Ollie was very clear. I want Jadon Sancho. Oh, we're not spending the money. I want a defender. Oh, we're not spending. No, listen up. Second, and then same thing with Arteta too. Arteta was going to want certain players to build in his image, his team, and if the board, you know, if Kroenke's like, I ain't spending that. He got to work. Yeah, thank you. He got to work with what he got. Klopp got backed. Pep got backed. They haven't. A Man United manager hasn't gone backed since Fergie. Literally, none of them got backed. Who's got backed? Marino did not get backed whatsoever. He wanted Harry Maguire, didn't get Harry Maguire. He wanted certain key players in his squad. He wanted Vertonghen at one point from Tottenham, didn't get him. He just wasn't supported. You know, even what's his name, David Moyes. He had Thiago, Sergio Ramos, Bale, man he had on his list. He said it after the fact. He got none of them. I mean, when are you gonna back? When are you gonna back your manager? You know,
Okay,
Klopp
but
got
you spent 75 million for Lukaku. You spent 57 for Martial. You
Not only
bought
by
Harry Maguire for 80. You
80.
brought Bruno for
Pogba.
60. You brought
Pogba.
Pogba for and you
look.
don't feel like your managers were
Wan
backed up.
Bissaka.
He has not. For
Wan
instance,
Bissaka,
actually, you prove my
Shaw.
point. You prove my point.
Shaw
That
McCarthy,
last season when he did what he's supposed to do, you know, and he
Alexis
coming into the team,
Sanchez,
Fred
he got
crazy
for 50
money.
something million.
one. Well, I can give you an example for all of them. One, Martial, that was way back in Van Gaal days, and nobody
Was.
believed in him. That's one. Pogba, that was a what's
But
his
you
name
said
thing
since
by.
Fergie. You said since Fergie.
They have not been backed the way they want to be backed. They have this mindset where we can splash big money on players and not buy the players needed for the team. That's two different things altogether. You can spend all the money on Pogba, but you buy nothing else for the squad. That's what I love about the Liverpool squad. You bought what was needed, not what was flashy. Harry Maguire was bought, great. And then you buy Wan-Bissaka, great. You fix my defense immediately. And that's a good job. I like that. You know, but then Bruno Fernandes should have been there since the summer. Why didn't we spend the money? Why'd I have to buy him in January? You did not back him when he needed to be backed at all. It wasn't there for him. And Jose Mourinho as well too. I don't like Jose's football, but I got kind of annoyed at the fact that he was fired. That he didn't get the money he got at Real Madrid. He didn't get the money he got at Chelsea or anything like that. You're giving him bits and pieces. Ibrahimovic, I love Ibra, but he was old. Cavani, old. Give the people what they want, you know. But when we can have another topic on this, because definitely though, I think that players, people need to be backed. Look at Pep. Pep has spent nearly 400 million on defenders. Anything he need, he just get. Anything he need, he just get. So maybe the Pep fans can jump in and say, thank you. You know, I the fans don't have a lot to say, or they have so much to say. Thank you for supporting. Let me see this here. Party was prime beer last week to Charlie yesterday. Wow.
Party played one half, and when he was playing, Party was playing well. Come on. Come on.
Benka is laughing at this. Arteta's 2 points ahead of the P teacher and has played one more game. Solid point.
But he's also one trophy up. Two trophies up on the RP teacher.
You have a game in hand. Yes. Yes, true.
Shaq, you're not counting the community shield as a trophy.
Everybody else count community shield.
He's right. Everybody count it when they suit them. Everybody count it when they suit them. Even United fans. I gotta give Shaq that. All right. Man U wanted Koulibaly, got Maguire. That's true. You know, wanted Grealish, got Bruno. It's true. They didn't want to spend the money on Grealish at all. Wanted Bale, got Di Maria. True. And Di Maria didn't even want to come in the first place. Woodward needs to go. Yes, that's 100% agree with that nonsense. You have a business guy there making me $600 million in profits, but yet can't spend an extra $20 million to buy Jadon Sancho. Explain that to me. I don't understand that. All right. So let's
I feel like all the owners need to go.
Yes, they do. Community shield should be counted. Yes.
Someone will count anything domestic.
They would. They would. But it's a serious point, though. And I see all of your points concerning that. That can you imagine Klopp coming and saying, "All right, I gotta get rid of all these people here, but you gotta give me the money to buy the right people." You know. And he did. Klopp brought money in, didn't he? He did.
Yeah.
He brought in the other guy, Egyptian boy, Salah. He did as well too, even though Chelsea forgot him altogether and didn't think he was anything worth of anything. They brought him in,
But
you made the point about Lukaku. Lukaku was a Mourinho buy. He was, but he wasn't the Ali player. You got to buy people according to what the manager wants. That's why Ali sold him. The first thing Ali sold was big old tall tree Fellaini. Why? Because he wasn't what Ali wanted. It's simple as that,
I just want to say this.
Go ahead, big man.
I know United fans hate Woodward. I know you guys hate him.
With a passion.
But
well, you're going to get run down
you
there
guys
again.
are very unfair when you say managers aren't back. When you just from a business perspective, if you have a manager and you're changing managers every 2 years, and every year or so, a new manager comes in and says, "I need $100 million worth of defenders," right? And the first time he said, "Oh, okay, we'll see what we can do," and we spend 200, which is what Mourinho did. We spent 200. Now, with the 200 million worth of players, you expect that to be an investment for at least the next 5 years, right? You change managers and another one comes in and says, "I need an overhaul. These are not my players. I need to spend another 100 million." But you still have the 200. You still have the 200 in your squad. At what point does Woodward say, "Hell no, get the best out of the 200 million that I spent a year ago"? Liverpool, on the other hand, when Klopp came in, he had money in the bank. He was winning titles in Germany, right? We needed to do an overhaul. The board says, "We kind of don't have the money, so you're going to have to sell high and buy low." And we did that for the first couple of years. We sell fringe players. Boom, boom, boom. We're selling Danny Ward for Leicester for 12 mil. We were getting great deals. And we were buying. We sell Ben Tek back to Crystal Palace for 32. Bought Mane with him. We kept doing that. We kept turning over. And then eventually, the squad was set. And we said, "Listen, for the next year, we're not going to spend any money." And that's how we continued. It's consistency with the manager. Consistency with the board.
Which is my point. I agree with you. You make a solid point because I think it supports mine in the sense that you wouldn't have to have an overhaul and have each manager coming in and asking for 100 mil if you stood by the guy at the time, which is why I would even need Oli. I would even need Oli if you'd just give Mourinho what he wanted. It's very simple. You know, Mourinho said it was a miracle. He came second place that season. Remember, I came second. Everybody forget I recently came second. Okay, no, it was way behind. Second, but I came second. Then now the second season come now, and what does the guy get? One friend. That's it. After coming second, you do buy just Fred?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to build on that? I can't build on that as a manager. He wanted Harry Maguire that season. He didn't get him. Mourinho. So you gotta have the mindset that I agree with you, need to back the manager. Somebody is saying, Woodard is fine, but United needs a director of football like Van Sar, Ajax or Czech at Chelsea, which is my same point again too.
That will help.
Is that what? No, let me tell you why I think he would help. I agree with Lamar. I think he would help because of the fact that we have a money man making decisions. But you said that it doesn't make sense to throw on 100 million for the next manager. And I agree with that in one sense. But man, you have to understand, or at least would understand as what? When we go into deals, if I want to buy Salah and then somebody says 50 million, if man, you come and say, we want Salah, all of a sudden it's 100 million now because they know we have the money. So you have to make up your mind already that they're going to do that to us. But this is why we're the richest club in the world. We have the money. And the Glazers are them there just soaking up all them dividends, taking it year after year, when they need to be investing the money back into the club. They got to give that to the Arab man and Pep, and you got to give that to Abramovich with Chelsea. They put the money back in the squad. All that Hazard money there is reaping the benefits now. When they sold Hazard, they've reinvested the money instead of just pocketing in there. They've made the Glazers have made millions, probably even billions at this point off of United. But yet we're not making the key investments in areas that need to be made. And we need a director of football and not a guy with a master's in business running the footballing side of things. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So that's what I think should be the case, But again, this is a discussion for another time. All right. Mourinho played football with height. He did. He had a different kind of system. If you gave him what he needed with his record, he should have done better. All right. But we still haven't talked about the last team yet. We're over time now. Last team yet. This is Man City versus Liverpool. All right. And we said, Shamoy said 3-1 win. And I remember you and Newton were clear that City getting 5. They're getting 5. But that didn't happen. Jamal, you said 2-2 draw. I supported you with that, Jamal, with a 2-2 draw. And Shaq, you said 3-1 Liverpool. You thought that Liverpool would have too much on the offensive end to for City to stop, but it ended up being a 1-1 draw. Okay, let's talk to Yurik first. Tell us what happened? Why didn't you do that? Because City technically committed the claim they should have won the game.
Yeah, they should have. Yeah, Kevin De Bruyne missed a penalty. They should have won the game. So the scoreline, I wasn't being serious. There's no way City was getting 5 from us, right? But confidence was on a level that day. But just regarding the game itself, I was surprised at the formation when I saw it. I thought that Jota would have played. And I'm gonna say something that may be a bit controversial. I think Klopp picked. I'm gonna be very careful with my words. The politically correct lineup to play. I think it was a bit cowardly in the lineup, and I'll tell you why. I think it was cowardly. I think Firmino at this point is out of form, totally out of form. I watched him play midweek in Europe. I watched him get benched midweek in Europe, and Jota played up front with Mane and Salah, and the attack was so fluid. I watched him play this weekend, and he was making the same mistakes he's been making all year. As a matter of fact, in the first minute, Trent released him through on goal with a beautiful pass. And all he had to do was square it into the middle because Salah and Mane were running through on goal. It was 3-on-1. And what he tried to do, tried to take from the outside Edison. Edison gets a little hand on the ball, and he eventually comes cannons back off him and goes up. I think. So
you think that Jota should have started the game instead of Firmino?
Yeah, he should have started down the middle because what happened was we ended up playing 2 in midfield. So we played a 4-2-4, right? And Jordan Henderson and Gini Wijnaldum were responsible for marshalling Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, and Gundogan. 3 Man City midfielders. 2 of them had to try to marshal. And I think they did well in the first half, but it tailed off in the second half when they got more. City obviously started to come into the game. They started to get more chances. Jesus missed the open header from 7 yards out.
He should have scored.
Right?
Yeah.
He should have scored. Missed penalty. City, we were really lucky to come out of there with the draw.
Yeah. Lamar says the second half of the game was the most boring thing ever, according to him. All right. And a City fan here, Shmoy says, my boy Gabriel came back and just got in the score sheet. We did say that coming into this game, he was in form, when we did our preview show. So you were right about that. Good point there, Shmoy. And another City fan says, a very energetic first half, but the second half got way too cautious. Yeah. I would say Liverpool was there for the taking in the second half. And they really should have, put it in, but it did not necessarily happen. What do you think about the game, Jamal? You said 2-2 draw, so you were right about the fact about the draw.
Well, yeah, but I think City should have taken it, run away with it, and after that penalty miss was when everything just went damp. Right, De Bruyne, I don't know what happened to him, but he just pulled it too far wide, and then everything just deflated after that. Both teams.
Some attacking midfielders can't score penalties, like some people I know. Anyway, moving on. All right, go ahead.
It just like everyone has been saying, the second half just ran into nothing, and the teams just they performed in the second half. But it showed that the teams had a lot of respect for each other, and you can see it in the managers at the end of the. And I don't know why they're showing too much respect to each other at this early in the season.
Too much. I know, right?
Especially, City is still halfway down the table. Well, they're 10th now. They just moved up to 10th. So, there's just a lot of questions to be asked.
I know there's nobody's talking about City, being down there, but they don't want to cuss about me being relegation. But anyway, that's a different story.
Have a game in hand, game or 2 in hand, because they started late.
Yeah, so did I. I have a game in hand as well, so it's interesting. To be honest, City started the game too timid, took a while before actually taking it to Liverpool. All right, good point. And Benkai Samuel says, based on the first half, I saw City should have gone in at least with 3 goals. Yeah, I did think that their midfield was more dominant in that scenario. And even though I would say I agree with Urique, I didn't. Firmino didn't have a good game. I think he could have been leaded a lot better, and I think he's grasping for straws right now in the sense that I believe that what's his name, Klopp, is probably picking him, out of respect for what he did last season, and trying to manage the situation as best as he can. But how long before we have a situation where you think Jota starts? What do you think, Shaq, as we close off this point?
Oh, I think that's what Klopp is going to do going forward. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
be Jota starting up front. That's a new front three: Jota, Salah, and Mane. If he
Mm-hmm.
wants to get the best out of this Liverpool team, that's what he has to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Shamoy says Mane went down too easy for that pen. What do you think about that? Too easy or clear cut? Jamal.
He went down too easy. It's a touch, but I mean, when you're in the box and you feel the touch, you go down. So
Mm-hmm.
in the current football climate, I'd say it's
Mm-hmm.
just any regular thing. I mean, who
Regular
does it?
thing. Yeah.
Somebody does it.
Sad, but it's a regular
Kane,
thing.
Kane does it every other week. Like he backs into a player and falls down, and then whether the referee wants to buy it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jamal,
Yeah.
I said this earlier. I think I was talking to Josh.
Mm-hmm.
40 seconds before that, Sterling got fouled.
Yes,
Sterling
but that
should call. Go
was
ahead.
not a penalty, and that's why VAR didn't call that back because it was a free kick.
No, I'm not saying that it was a penalty. I'm just saying that if they had called that foul,
Yeah.
Liverpool wouldn't have counted down there for Mane to get that chance.
Fair enough. Yes,
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Then obviously it's up to the referee, and Sterling didn't sell him enough, but Mane did.
That penalty shouldn't have been a thing because Raheem the Dream got fouled prior to that. Yes. So let's see, the referee should have called Sterling's foul. Definitely. Okay. And comments are coming in. Newton
But
says here,
they couldn't.
I don't think
They could-
Firmino should have played 4-3-3. The two midfielders were very overworked. Okay, that's Newton's analysis of that situation here. But it stands as such. Oh yes, I can't forget. Lamar says here, Pep 2 points ahead of the PE teacher. As
Memphis
as well.
Memphis on a campaign there, boy.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Okay, we gotta close. We're close to over time, but we enjoyed a lot of it, and of course the commentary and the banter was good as usual. A quick comment here. In all honesty, seeing the referee let that Sterling call go makes it clear that's why players dive in the modern game.
That's it.
Shaq made the same point to me earlier today too. That's why they feel it. You don't dive, and then when down the road now, somebody else feels it and dives, and you're like, man, I should have dived that time. So it make you wonder.
But let me tell you, if Sterling was in the box, he would have dropped.
Yeah, 100%.
He would have dropped.
He would have dropped and rolled.
Yeah.
This game was good for a neutral fan watching. The only result better is that they both could lose the game. Yes, by the way, I think Rita is a United fan, so good stuff there from her as well. All right, so thank you guys all. Thank you all for coming tonight and taking up your time. I know you have other things to do. But you spend some time with us here at Island Fans, and we support all of your commentary and all the persons who commented. I really, really, really appreciate it. And on Thursday, don't forget, tune in, whether you're live now or you see the video later on. There's no Premier League games this weekend, so it won't be our usual preview, but we will have a special topic, and that topic would be on VAR, how it's affected the season so far, and also the handball rule and the offside rule in general, and how it connects with VAR as well too. And we'll be breaking that down, how we feel about it, and should it have been changed, and how will it affect the rest of the season. And when we look back on these moments here with VAR and even the handball rule and say it was crucial in determining who wins the title. So fine margins when it comes to these teams. Every little bit of it counts. So once again, I want to thank Shaq, Trust the Process, Jamal, and Sadio Hall and Shumoy. He dropped out, but he supported the team still nonetheless. Either way. So it was a good night, guys, and good night, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you for watching Island Fans. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when there are new videos and updates. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and like us on Facebook. Island Fans, for the passion of the game.